Welcome to this video called Motivation, the third video in the foundation series of the Desperate Pianist. The videos that go further and try harder to get you to play the piano than anywhere else. Now, if you stop anyone in the street and ask them if they'd like to play the piano, 99% would say yes, I'm sure. But if you then ask them, can they perform at the piano, 99% would say no. I'm sure of that as well. So we want to be one of those 1% of the people that can play the piano. So our desire to play the piano is worthy of really close examination, because the more we nurture it, the more we can get to reach our piano playing goals. And also, if we can keep it alive, we won't give up. And that's a lot of the problem, is that we don't get motivated and just give up. Nobody wants a string of half-finished pieces because we fell out of love with them before they were at performance standard. So here we're going to look at how we can sort this out, how we can get our carrots and honey. The motivation threshold. This concept is the point where you get a piece to performance level before you lose interest in playing it. It's the difference between having a bag of unfinished pieces to having a sparkling repertoire that you can play. And obviously this is a really difficult thing to do, because the 99% of people who haven't managed to do it. And the desire to play a particular piece alone is not enough. Good piano players usually have had more than one motivation reason to tip them into wanting to play for many hours. Here in this video, we're going to look at supplementary commitments which will turbocharge our need to play and improve at the piano. And some kind of public performance is definitely the best of all. Let's have a look at this list of what can motivate us to sit at the piano. The first thing, and it may be the reason you're here, is that you have a piece of music that you really love. It gets you all the emotions going and you really want to play it. And that's a big motivation, almost all the motivation, to sit down at the piano and play this particular music and give you these emotions. Another big emotion is the emotion of love, which is very similar to the emotion of making music. And if you've got someone you want to impress in particular with a particular piece of music, then you're really, really motivated to get that piece out so you can play it. You can accompany people. And when you accompany somebody, you have to keep up with them and you have to be good. You can't be a mess. So that's a big motivation. Piano duets, other instruments, and singing as well. An inspiring teacher, if you can get one, that is really good. They're worth the money and you will follow them and they'll give you advice. It's fantastic. If you can't find one, they're pretty few and far between. I'll have a go at doing that for you. A rewarding hobby. It's much better than social media or watching the TV. You get reward. It's something to do if you're bored. An overbearing parent. A lot of children have a parent that tells them to do their practice and motivates them in that way. It's not all bad. They can be helpful. And especially if you had a parent that played the piano or made music, that would inspire you to do music and play the piano. But of course, when you're an adult, that's not quite so easy to get. A request for a particular piece by friends or family. Now with COVID, you can't really go out and do a lot. So if someone says, oh, I like that piece, you want to say, oh, I'll play it to you in 2 or 3 weeks' time. And that motivates you because you promised them. And also it's something you can do for your relationship, whatever that is. The buzz of performance feedback's really good. If you get applause when you've played a piece from people, that's a really feel-good factor. and that will make you want to do more and will motivate you to get that positive feedback. Social activity: if you've got a piano friend who's doing the same sort of thing as you can share the same thing and you can gee each other along. That's really good. Maybe on our website you'll be able to find someone like that. Employment: that's really good. If you've got a church service coming up, or if you've got to play in a restaurant or a hotel, then you have to be good to do that, and so you're motivated to be at a particular standard so that you can go and perform at these places. Similar to rewarding hobby, life achievement, self-satisfaction: when you're on your deathbed, did you watch the TV or did you play beautiful music? What do you do with your life? Then again, somewhere to hide, and by that I mean when you sit down at the piano, it can be your own special place where all the hard, cruel world is not there. You can enjoy doing what you want and forget about your troubles. So you're motivated to go to this place. And of course, it's art. We want to paint and write and make music. It's part of us, and that is a motivation. And maybe you can turn that to your advantage as well. Even if you've started with another motivation, the biggest motivation for playing the piano is being in love with the music. And there may be a special composer or special pieces that you really want to play. And life is too short to not live your dream. If you have a piece you really want to play, then get stuck in and do it. Don't let people say, oh, it's too difficult for you to do. It will be a mountain to climb and you'll find it hard and long-term project, but you will be able to do it, especially if you have a really good look at what we've got to offer here. So just do it. You must just do it. Another thing we can do is look for pieces which we already have and an emotional attachment to. So for example, most couples have their song, and also you could look back in your life to see what you were listening to when you had life events, like when you were a teenager, when you went on holiday. Anything like that will give you more of an emotional attachment to be wanting to play that piece. Our motivation to play a piece inevitably decreases as we get more used to its buzz and it doesn't give us the same pleasure. One important thing to do is to save this for constructive practice. Don't just casually listen to it elsewhere and wear it out. But you also have to expect your enthusiasm to come in waves. Learning the piano is a kind of rolling evolution from piece to piece. So when you find your motivation waning, look around for new inspiration, and that will keep you going and improving at the piano all the time. So you can have a look around for music which inspires if you don't have stuff that you already want to do. Look at favourite old songs, listen to new music. Films have some really good music, some emotive music, which I find good to play and which others will like to hear. And then obviously you can trawl YouTube, which is a marvellous resource. It's a common motivational theme to set short and medium term targets to help with a long-term goal. No matter how trivial, if you have a plan and you can work your way through it, it helps you keep going. So see if you can make a list of what you want to do. If you have a large piece, split it into smaller sections. You might just simply say, I'm going to learn some simpler pieces and then move on to something larger. Or if you are trying to get a repertoire together, then if you have 10 pieces you want to play, obviously if you play them one at a time, then you'll build it up rather than just try to play all 10 at once. And then with the way you work as well, if you just sit down for 10-minute practice, then that will help you a little bit towards your goal. And if you can add up a lot of 10-minute practices, that will help. But we've already said we need to get to that motivational threshold where you have reached performance level. So you must incorporate that into your targets. And then, of course, regularly, once you attain your performance targets, you'll feel good and then you'll want to do more. We will be more motivated to play the piano if it's incorporated into the fabric of our lifestyle. It's a really good thing to do anyway, exercising all parts of your brain and for things like hand and eye coordination. We also want to use it to replace that terrible time-wasting behaviour that social media and the internet's become. It sort of sucks you down the plug hole of wasting time. Also, you'll be better at the piano if you're healthier generally. It'll be a good excuse to improve your diet and exercise more. Our brains become much better at memorising and working things out if we are more healthy. Make your piano playing something you do every day without fail. It's not like, shall I do some practice today? It's you just do practice every day. Say like brushing your teeth. If you haven't brushed your teeth on a particular day, you should feel, and I hope you do, disgusted and dirty with yourself, and you must make the piano the same. If you haven't played, you feel as if you've really let yourself down. It's just a habit. You'll do it every day. Then think about your piano goals when you're daydreaming or when you have free time, and especially just before you go to sleep. If you think to yourself, well, tomorrow I'm going to get up early in the morning and I'm going to play a particular piece, it's amazing that in the morning you actually do find that that's in your mindset. So get up early and go straight to the piano before anything else intervenes, especially if you can get up before anybody else. Most people are aimlessly wandering through their lives, but the piano can give you purpose and you won't be one of them. Make every precious ounce of motivation pay by improving your piece. Don't waste time at the piano. You've got to think in the medium term that we are wanting to get to the motivation threshold where when we run out of our motivation, we've got the piece to performance level and we can put it in a drawer and bring it out and it's all shiny and working. Cultivate the attitude of the piano playing as a pleasant activity. It wants to be something that you want to do. So if you're sitting down thinking, what should we do next? Oh, we'll play the piano. We enjoy that. You don't want to get negative vibes where you feel that it's not what you want to do. So just stop if you're not enjoying it for absolutely any reason at all. If you don't want to play, don't force yourself. Otherwise, you're just teaching yourself that it's an unpleasant activity. You don't have to be fully motivated all the time. Sometimes you can just sit at the piano and plonk a few keys. And it's amazing how many times that ends up as a full practice session without even realising it. If you don't have a lot of talent and flair, then it's quite a long road to get a basic performance level from a piece, even a small piece. So it is going to be tough, but if you just practice small sections, enjoy the music note by note, as we do in our practice videos, then you'll find that it'll build up and eventually out of the egg will come your nice piece to perform. Remember that the piano is not instant gratification like a video game or social media, but the long-term rewards are much higher. And at some point, we really need to ask the question, how motivated are you really? Do you just like the idea of playing the piano, or do you really want to play the piano? If you don't really want to play, then don't be hard on yourself if it's not really something you want to do. But then if you're here as a desperate pianist, it's very likely that you will have that motivation. Incidentally, the picture that you see here has been on my laptop as inspiration for me, and I've actually played on that piano, but that's another story.